International break, it came at a good moment for a lot of clubs, especially for Liverpool, who had started to lose several games in a row. Manchester United, we know they're a little bit hot and cold, but Charlie, is there one team here that you think really needed that international break more to kind of recoup things and fix their mentality a little bit?
Well, when we think about international break, you think, oh, it's a break and they still train with the club. They get a... No, these guys are still going on internationals, your World Cup qualifiers. I mean, Alexander Isak, you spend that type of money to bring in a player who's certified in the Premier League. You know, when you look at his history, this is somebody who's ready to take the next step in his career. Now, I know he's only played 3 matches for Liverpool, but well under the expectation. I think he'll get there. So for me, it's not, oh, this break came at a great time for Liverpool because now they can rest and get all on the same page. Mm-hmm. It came at the right time, I think, just to cool off, focus somewhere else before you come back and say, okay, now let's get back after it. Liverpool are still second place. It's not the end of the world. Mm-hmm. For them, for things not to go well, as for me, as predicted, when you're introducing so many big name players, a new situation, you lose a player like Luis Diaz, who is incredible and killing it at Bayern Munich. So Florian Wirtz probably is the one player that we say, hey, this guy is magic, yet we haven't seen it with Liverpool yet. That hasn't been the right fit. So still trying to tinker there, and the right back position. I know Kirkez is the left back. I still think he has a lot of work to do to get to the level that Liverpool need him to be. But the right back, between Szoboszlai, between Connor Bradley, between Jeremy Frimpong, I think they're still trying to figure out where this team can get the right group of players together. Yeah,
when you think of the international break, and Chuck, you've been there as a player, I see it 2 different ways. In terms of teams that needed it, as a team, Liverpool needed the break. And talking to some Liverpool fans on the ground at Anfield, they were just like, man, I need to go somewhere else and not watch a Premier League match and not think about Premier League football for about 10 days. A team that didn't need the break, Manchester United, because the performance against Sunderland was probably their most complete performance they've had so far this season. Ruben Amorim, he needed a break. So I'm excited to see how these 2 teams come out. But in terms of pressure, I think Liverpool are under the most pressure of the 2 teams. This is a free hit for Manchester United, but Liverpool under immense pressure. Arne Slot will be under the microscope, and this is the sort of game that if they don't win, and that's 4 in a row, we ask bigger questions about, is this the right team to go and win a Premier League title? Is this the team, and is this the manager that's the right manager to put this all together? Still early days, but the questions start growing.
I think it's just too early for that. And had Arne Slot not won the Premier League last year, fair enough. Those questions can arise, and his seat's getting extremely hot. But he's won the Premier League last year in a really difficult situation, filling in for Jurgen Klopp. This season, I think the goal really is Champions League. Still you want to win the Premier League, and they should with the quality that they have. But patience. I think for me it's patience. Given the stumbles, they're still just a point off the top.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Man U fans definitely need some patience here. And a crazy stat is, I think Manchester United, what is it? They overwhelmingly lead the league in expected goals per game. And I don't know, Charlie, if it was you, but there was someone one time that they said they hate expected goals because it's like, okay, it's just a stat. Like, does it even matter? Was it you?
No, but I'm not a big fan of XG.
That's hilarious.
There are flaws in some stats, and we talk about the eye test, we talk about stats. I think there's somewhere in between when you're talking about analytics in the game. They can paint a narrative depending on how you want to use them. But for me, Manchester United, they have to figure out what is the best group of players, but also the right tactics. Because Ruben Amorim said he's married to this 3-4-3. You know, it is what it is. But ultimately, it's so inconsistent. I look at Liverpool, the thing that stands out to me is the 9 goals against. It's not the goals for. It's not Florian Wirtz with 0 goals, 0 assists, and Isak with 0 goals and 1 assist. For me, it's the 9 goals against. Typically, we're talking about a Liverpool side that is sound defensively. They don't concede opportunities, let alone goals. So that, for me, is where Arne Slot has to figure out, okay, how do we stop bleeding goals?
For Manchester United, having this really high XG, I know you don't like it, Charlie, but there is something to be said for it, because if you actually look at the numbers of it, to me, it's the most accurate representation of a stat. A shot and a shot on target, to me, is absolutely nothing, because an XG takes into account the skill of the player, the location on the pitch. And this year, despite Manchester United having the highest XG, this is their first time since 2023 that United have had a period of positive expected goal differential, meaning that not only are they creating a higher XG, but they're also limiting the opposition's chances and shots, which, when you have both of those trending in the right direction, that just means you're going to have more goals and more shutouts, which means more wins in the end. But Manchester United is not getting that, which means that all these numbers and all these stats are out the window. So I'm with you on that one, because it doesn't matter. In the end, you have to take better shots. You have to take more chances. And I think the biggest issue with Manchester United right now is that they have all these people up top that want to be the goal scorer. They want to be the hero that takes the team on their shoulders and says, I got the win for us. When the better chance is maybe to slip a pass through and find your teammate open. I think they're missing that one extra pass, that one extra look when they get in the final third to be able to actually convert their chances that they're getting.
When I think of Manchester United as of late, the biggest difference is maybe the Benjamin Sesko signing is proving to be more of a real deal. Now, the goals that he gets, both at home, that's one thing. They need him to step up at Anfield against Liverpool. And we look at the front line of Manchester United. So much money spent between your Cunha's, who's been out, Mateus Cunha, that is, and he can come up with a moment of brilliance, but sometimes when I watch him, he seems like he's trying too hard to do it by himself. Brian Mbeumo and Mason Mount, he's another player who, Mason Mount and Mbeumo, those two players are going to be the key, because Liverpool's struggles defending in transition is Manchester United gains. And Mbeumo has the ability to pick a pass. And when I watched the pass that he had for Mason Mount's goal against Sunderland, that is what Ruben Amorim wants to do. But you have to execute in both boxes. The most important player on the day, though, is not in the attacking end. It's defensively. It's Finn Lamens. The other XG for expected goals or whatnot, it's expected gifts. Manchester United have been giving gifts to opposing teams. You've now signed a goalkeeper in Lamens who's there to bring order and control, and against the Liverpool side that's still trying to find themselves, big goalkeepers step up in big games.
What have you liked about Sesko?
I like that he's kind of has this raw talent about him. I like that he's lanky, and I like that he's young. And the fact that the goals that he's getting are scrappy. Sometimes as a striker, Chuck, you know this, you need a scrappy goal or two to build that confidence. But this is that sort of game that Liverpool, a back line that we don't know if Ibrahima Konate is going to be fit, a midfield that looks like a sieve right now, players haven't been themselves from a season ago. This could be the sort of match that people are putting more respect to Benjamin Sesko's name. So the fact that he's getting goals within the six, and the fact that the way Liverpool's defenses are, is Benjamin Sesko's gain.
Yeah. Who do you see taking the win in this one, Charlie?
Liverpool at home.
Liverpool at home?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see how it plays out.
Arsenal's secret to success. What Mikel Arteta told his new stars to inspire a title charge. Arsenal's summer signings weren't just brought in to strengthen the squad, they were brought into a mindset, a belief, a mission, and according to 21-year-old defender Christian Mosquera, it's a mission fueled not only by ambition but by something deeper, the pain of coming so close, yet falling short. During the international break, Mosquera shared some revealing insights in an interview while on duty with Spain's U21s. Since joining Arsenal this summer, the young centre-back has already made his presence felt, stepping up in a squad that boasts one of the strongest defensive pairings in the league, William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. It hasn't been easy, but Mosquera has embraced the competition and earned his minutes in a side that currently leads the Premier League table. But perhaps even more impressive than his performances on the pitch is what he's learned off it. We look around the dressing room and you can feel it's a winning atmosphere, Mosquera said. We believe in ourselves, we know what we're capable of, so why not believe we can win it all? He went on to explain that, before the season even began, Mikel Arteta made one thing very clear to all the new players: the frustration and heartbreak of seasons past, the narrow title misses, the near misses in Europe, The sense of a club on the verge but not quite over the line. There's a real optimism this year, Mosquera added. Everyone is happy, focused. There's a feeling that this could finally be the year, and that's what makes his words so powerful. Because for all the current success stop of the league, deep in European competition people sometimes forget just how far Arsenal has come. When Arteta took over, the club was 11th in the Premier League, out of the Champions League picture, and struggling to find its identity. Fast forward to now, 3 second-place finishes, a Champions League semi-final, and a squad that's not only talented but unified. Arsenal is firmly among Europe's elite again. Just look at how long other giants have struggled. Manchester United haven't truly recovered since Sir Alex Ferguson's departure. Liverpool's Premier League title in 2020 came after decades of waiting. By contrast, Arsenal's resurgence under Arteta has been swift and built on clear vision and trust in youth. Still, as Mosquera puts it, second place isn't enough anymore. Not for this group. The standards have shifted. There's a hunger in the squad, he said. Everyone wants more, no one's satisfied just being close. We want to finish what we've started. It's clear that Arteta has instilled more than just tactics, he's cultivated belief. By making sure the new faces understood the emotional toll of past failures, he's sparked something powerful, a united desire not just to compete, but to conquer. Whether that will be enough to finally lift the Premier League trophy remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, this Arsenal side isn't afraid of the pressure anymore, they welcome it. And maybe, just maybe, that's the edge they need to finally cross the finish line. The pressure continues to build, but so does the belief. As Christian Mosquera adapts to life at Arsenal, it's clear that his arrival is part of a broader transformation happening within the club. More than just a new defender, Mosquera represents a new standard, one built on quiet confidence, accountability, and a hunger for more than just progress. Shortly after joining, Mosquera found himself thrown into the fire, stepping in during a key match when William Saliba suffered an injury. Despite the intensity of the situation, he described feeling calm and focused, a reflection of the trust placed in him by the coaching staff. It was a defining moment that showed not only his readiness, but also how deeply Arteta's philosophy has taken root in the squad: composure under pressure, clarity in roles, and a relentless focus on winning. What stands out most in Mosquera's comments is how Arteta's messaging has shaped the internal mindset. He and the other summer signings were not simply told what the club expects, they were shown what had been lost in recent years, and what now had to be reclaimed. The second-place finish, the narrow eliminations in Europe, these were not dismissed. They were used as fuel. Within the squad, the message is clear: close is not good enough anymore. That standard has rippled through every part of the team. Training sessions are sharper, communication is louder. The locker room isn't just filled with hope, it's filled with intent. There's a noticeable shift in how players talk about their goals. It's no longer about returning to the top, it's about staying there. Still, belief alone doesn't win titles. Consistency, especially under pressure, is what separates contenders from champions. Earlier in the season, moments of doubt crept in, whether after unexpected losses or flat performances. But instead of being deflated, the team has used those moments to reinforce what they're building. Arteta's response to setbacks has also been crucial. He's challenged his players to respond with fire, not frustration. When the team slips, he doesn't shy away from demanding more. But at the same time, he keeps them grounded. His approach is not built on emotion alone, it's tactical, psychological, and deeply personal. Players know where they stand, and they know what's expected. This blend of structure and emotion has created a culture that's difficult to shake. Younger players like Mosquera are not just developing, they're growing within a system that expects excellence, not in the future, but now. And perhaps that's the biggest change at Arsenal. For years, the conversation was about potential, about returning to former glory, about building something long-term. But now, that tone has shifted. This team doesn't want to wait for next year. They believe the time is now. They believe the frustration of the past has a purpose, to drive them forward until the final day of the season, with nothing left to prove, only something to lift. Whether that belief will be enough to finally cross the finish line is yet to be seen. But for the first time in a long time, Arsenal looks and sounds like a club that truly expects to win. And that expectation, more than anything, may be the most powerful weapon they have.